great in terms of their resumes, we end up not being able to hire them because they don't write well. So I know all of your professors are probably telling you that, yes, you need to write another paper, and you're going, really? I've got to write another paper? Keep writing those papers. It's important. It is great to be here today. Thank you for welcoming me to this campus. We are traveling the state this week, working very hard, trying to get the word out on college campuses that this is a huge election for you. Probably the biggest election that you may have in your whole life when it comes down to preserving the middle class in this country. The surest ticket I know, guaranteed ticket to the middle class in this country, is in fact a college education. It is absolutely a slam dunk that you will be part of the middle class in this country and maybe beyond, but certainly part of the middle class in this country if you get your degree. And really, if you look at why we have been envied by the rest of the world, yes, it's because of our freedoms. Yes, it's because of our open system of government. But it's really about our standard of living. Because you see, every country has rich people. And every country has poor people. But there's a whole lot of countries that don't have much in between. In our country, we always have. And we have grown and strengthened that middle class through the expansion of educational opportunities in this country. If you look at the first GI Bill, I was proud to be a sponsor of the second GI Bill, but if you look at the first GI Bill and what the men and women did around that college education after World War II, and what they did for the middle class in this country, they really set us apart from the rest of the world. And only in America was it so common that you would have two cars, that you would have a washer and a dryer in your house, that you would have enough money to add on a small addition, maybe buy a bass boat, maybe a small cabin down at the lake, take a vacation every once in a while. That was something that the rest of the world said, gosh, I really wish we had that kind of vibrant, consuming middle class that really was the rock-solid foundation of our stellar economy. And it continues to be the most important piece of our economy. So that's why the position of my opponent is so hard to understand. How many people in this room are going to college right now, either with a federally backed student loan or a Pell Grant? And how many of those same hands would stay up if I ask you if you have a job? Yeah, so I'm obviously none of you are working very hard. I'm kidding. Most students who have grants or federal loans also work. I did, and I think most students do. So it's not as if students are getting these grants or loans and putting their feet up and saying, you know, bring me another beer. Students are doing everything they can to make this affordable, to make sure their debt load is not too much, and to try to get through college and get out into the workforce in a way that makes sense for our country. My opponent wants to end Pell Grants and end any federal backing of student loans. There are over 300,000 young people in Missouri alone that are attending college right now because of federally backed student loans or Pell Grants. That's 300,000 young people, the vast majority of which could not go to college without that help. And what would that do to Warrensburg? What would that do to Maryville? What would that do to Kirksville? What would that do to Springfield and Columbia, Jefferson City, Cape Girardeau? I don't need to tell the people in Warrensburg how important this university is to the economic activity in this county. Talk about an engine. So the notion that we would all of a sudden turn off the ability of all of these young people to get these loans and get these grants makes absolutely no sense to me. But it does to Todd Akin. He wants to end all federal involvement with education, K through 12 and higher ed. No more Department of Education, no more school lunches, no more Pell Grants, no more student loans. And I think that should be a non-starter with most Missourians. Now, what would happen if Todd Akin's position prevailed, if he became a United States Senator and his position prevailed? Who would go to college? I've had 3 17-year-olds. I wouldn't loan money to any of them. I'm trying to imagine the high school